Good morning. Winston just finished his breakfast, and this morning is my first day doing full work. My working hours start here in a couple minutes, but I figured I'd do just something kind of quick to kind of do a day in the life of when I'm actually working, right? Winston, no. Have the doors open. I'm facing a field. It's lovely. Winston would like to escape to it, but he's not allowed. Nope. Go on. Ah! You see what I have to put up with. Okay. And see, I always have to sound like I'm gonna take him down, okay? He doesn't listen to me otherwise. If my voice doesn't sound like it's about to be World War III in this not a house, he's not going to listen. Today is the start of two habits. First is yogurt for breakfast in the morning. We're going to try and hold to this. But the truth is, I have a love-hate relationship with yogurt. And I never stick to it when I eat it for breakfast. So we're going to try. We're going to be optimistic. On the weekends, we're going to let ourselves have whatever we want, but during the week, we're just going to have yogurt. We'll work up to the weekends. Small changes, baby steps. Next is I got a cup of coffee and I added my own milk and my own sweetener. Ghirardelli ground, sweet ground powder. It's cocoa powder. It's fantastic, to be honest with you. I discovered that quite a few places, like actual coffee shops, do use this, which is where I got the idea to buy it in the first place. So this way I can control the amount of sweetener and the amount of sugar in the coffee. Same with the milk. I can control the amount of fat that's being added into it. So I think between the two things, this will probably last longer than the yogurt, but we'll see. So now I'm just going to fold my bed into a couch and take some calls and answer a million emails, and then I'll check back in with you guys in a bit. Bye-bye. All right. So I stayed the night here in Alpine, which worked out quite well. And then my work shift is now over, and I spent some time thinking about what I want to do next. I thought I could stay in Alpine for a few days and just kind of hang out and work and wait till the weekend to drive. But the truth is, I'm just antsy. I don't really want to stay. I want to keep going. There's another national park like 2 hours away, and then there's another national park 2 hours after that. So I just kind of want to keep going. So my next stop is just to drive a couple hours, just like 2 hours. So super easy, to a Love's truck stop. Because it has been 4 days since your girl has taken a shower, and it is time. So that's going to be our next adventure, which is figuring out how to shower at a truck stop. I've never actually done it before, so this is going to be fun. Real quick, wanted to show you the setup in the back. It's pretty basic. I cut the mattress into two pieces, excuse me. The front half of the mattress is what's sitting there. We have the table then to your left, which is where I set my computer, and then I lean my back up against the piece of wood there, so that's folded up. That's the centerpiece of the top of my wood bed that I built. So I just lean against that and I do my work, and that's what I did today. Life on the road, I think, can boil down to a handful of things. The first being that it is often a series of checks. Checking to make sure the car is locked, checking to make sure you have your keys, checking your fluids, checking your gas gauge, checking how much power you have, how much water you have, and that can be somewhat tiring. But for me, I guess, as strange as it is, it keeps me from being bored. I don't know if bored is really the right word for it, but for me, when I'm at home, I need things to do, and there's something sort of freeing about creating those new patterns and focusing only on those and not thinking about kind of the world at large. You're just focusing on going from point A to point B and what you need to be able to succeed in that. Additionally, it's about, I would also categorize van life as being about troubleshooting and adapting. You run into a lot of scenarios that can be difficult with, for me, when I first started this, which you can check out an earlier video on my channel where I went to North Dakota, I quickly realized that power was one of the larger issues that I had come across, and it was difficult for me to make sure that I have enough power to charge everything that I needed to charge, to be able to work every day. And that's when I made changes like adding in a new alternator and adding solar panels and getting a more powerful power station, different things like that. And at this point, this is kind of my big trip. Now, I've taken this on a few trips now. I've taken it from Minnesota to Oregon and Washington. I've taken it to Louisiana. I've taken it on the East Coast to the Carolinas to visit my brother. So I have taken it for decent lengths of time, but this is the first time where I'm going to be driving it for ideally like 2 to 3 months without renting like an Airbnb or a hotel. I mean, I might rent one for a night, I don't know. But as long as I have comfort here and access to the things that I need, it's not really necessary. And I wanted to just kind of see how feasible it really was for me. I don't necessarily think I look like the kind of person who would be a van lifer. I don't know. You guys can give your opinion. And I did do this voluntarily. It's not something where I wanted to spend an arm and a leg. I probably all in have spent about $15,000 total, $4,500 for the van, and then frankly, honestly, $10,000 for everything else. Maybe we count a little bit of that as like labor costs. The time that I've spent along with my aunt probably would have cost me double that if I had someone professionally do it. But for me, this just ended up kind of blowing into a larger passion project. It wasn't originally planned for that. It's not this cool. I'm going to try and show it to you. It's probably not going to look very good, but I'm going to try. So for me, it became sort of a passion project on a smaller scale, on a smaller budget. But I really enjoy these aspects of travel. I enjoy the checklist. I enjoy the problem solving. I enjoy having to adapt. I pride myself in being an adaptable person. It quickly became clear to me when I first started working that I needed to be able to adapt quickly. And I was able to kind of sit down and make that happen, and learn and change. And now I find that I really thrive on it, and it really keeps me honestly happy. When I had an apartment and I was on my own, it became kind of overwhelming. I was kind of drowning in myself, and some of that's the depression, but I love having new things to explore and see and do every day, and I'm just kind of antsy. Like I said, I could have stayed, or maybe I didn't say, but I could have stayed. Oh gosh, that actually over there, it really looks like Scotland. Sorry, I got totally distracted. Not that distracted. I'm still paying attention. But I could have stayed in Alpine for another day, but the truth is, I didn't want to. I'm itching to keep going. I want to keep going and keep exploring, and eventually maybe I'll get tired of it, and that won't be the case. But for now, I just want to keep going and see what the world has to offer, as long as I balance being able to continue to work and make sure I have internet access. So it may lead to some difficulties where I might go to a town and think I've got internet, and then I don't, and then I've got to adapt and change and figure that out, and I will. And that's kind of the joy of it and the frustration of it. It can be difficult, you make mistakes, and that can be hard, but ultimately, I've done a few shorter trips, and this is the first few days of my big trip, but I've really enjoyed it. All right, cracked open the rice cooker. I was a little unsure how well it was gonna go. I just have a Zorishi rice cooker and I used the quick cooking function, which you cannot see, but you saw me. I ran that and I just kept a close eye on it, and then after it had been running for about 20 minutes, I cracked an egg in it, and then I left it going for like another maybe 10 minutes at most. I don't know, I was just pretty much eagle eye watching it, trying to make sure that the egg didn't overcook and the rice didn't burn. Thankfully, being a Zarishi, it did not. I ran through, gosh, it's hard to see with the glare. That says 28%. So I burned through 11% in order to make this. Honestly, I don't think that's too bad for my dinner, you know, like this is kind of a main staple that I tended to eat at home anyway. So now I'm just having it here, and it's just rice with a little soy sauce, an egg, and some kimchi, cabbage kimchi, excuse me. And so that's my dinner for the evening. We're just hanging out at the truck stop at the moment, and our next plan, once Friday rolls around, is to head up to the next national park. Hello and welcome to my dark and imposing cave. That is the back of my van. You might be asking yourself, why don't I have any other lights on other than these lights that are in the corner here? That I can't show you because they will flicker, and I'm not here to cause accidental seizures, but you can see me change color. So I killed my battery. I did. I killed my battery. I was stupid. I've been at this truck stop for a couple days and I haven't started the van for any long periods of time. And I had my fridge plugged in to the van battery. And so, yeah, I killed the battery. So this is why I have AAA. So I called them and they're sending somebody out. Unfortunately, because I am literally in the middle of nowhere, it's going to take like an hour, but that's fine. I wasn't intending to go anywhere. So we're going to jump it. I'm going to leave it running for a while and then we'll check on it in the morning. And I might have to replace the battery. I've been playing with I've been playing this game with a pretty low battery here for a while. So we'll see, but for now we just have ambient moonlighting from my super cool solar powered string lights that change colors, and I'm going to enjoy the ambiance as I wait. Many years ago, my father gifted me a DS, and he gifted me a Game Boy first, and I had a couple of Game Boy games, and then he gifted me a DS. And it was very kind of him. I didn't really grow up with video games, and to be honest, I didn't really use the Game Boy or the DS very often, except when we went on the occasional road trip. But now that I'm on like the biggest road trip of my life, I packed this DS and those games, and it's coming in handy, actually. Specifically, though, I've never actually played Animal Crossing. I don't know anything about Animal Crossing. When I logged in yesterday, I accidentally logged into somebody's world and I didn't realize it for like 20 minutes. Then I had to wipe their world. Sorry, World of Norlands. It is gone. But it seems like the perfect way to pass some time when you're just kind of hanging out in the back of the van. So I'm going to try Animal Crossing and see how it goes. If anybody else has played it, let me know. Do you like it? Should I... any tips for Wild Worlds for the Nintendo DS? I know it came out 22 years ago. But, yeah. Also, fun fact, these have an internal battery that runs even when it's off. So when I turned it on, it said, is it February 2026? And I was like, oh my God, how does it do that? And so it's had an internal clock that's been running for the last 22 years. Can you believe that? 22 years. And it's still going.
He was still grinning to himself as they moved on, making their way steadily east, and it made Lucy feel safe enough to ask the question. Nothing too...
Trying to play with the angles today. Gets a little boring seeing me from the exact same angle all the time. So we have left the truck stop that we just spent the last 3 days in because now it's the weekend, and that means we get to go adventuring. So we are heading to Guadalupe Mountains National Park, and then we're also heading to Carlsbad Caverns after that. That's how I intend to spend the weekend, and then we'll end up in Roswell, New Mexico, probably Sunday night. That's the plan, and then we'll do some exploration and maybe visit Area 51. So just stopped at the main park area, picked up my sticker to go on the back of the van. Winston is unimpressed, but I also picked up some cactus flavored candy. This cost $10. We're gonna find out if it's good. So another impromptu taste test time. All right, we've opened the cactus candy. Winston would totally try and eat some, not gonna lie. No, it is not for you. Leave it. Don't need no Twizzlers. You don't need Twizzlers. They're my Twizzlers. Okay. Taste test. They're very floral. I've had soap that smells like this tastes. Very soap. All right. Well, we tried it. I'll probably try and eat some of it because it cost me $10. Should we give Winston a little bit? Teeny tiny amount. This could be a terrible life choice. All right, give it a try. What do you think? What did you think? Do you like it? Did you eat more of it? See, Winston is he's a real food connoisseur, and so it doesn't bother him that this tastes like soap. All right, now we're gonna go do some exploration around the mountains and figure out where we're gonna spend the night. So it's hard to show, but this particular area appears to mainly be the kind of place you come to hike, not drive. There appears to be very little for driving. I have Winston, so I can't go hiking, unfortunately. The only road that I can take to anywhere is up here. I can go to the McKittrick Canyon Visitor Center and something called Ship on the Desert. So I think that is what we'll do, and then we'll let Winston out so he can walk around a little bit, and he needs some burn some energy always. So that's the plan. Do I get things from you? Yes, my little dog wants to play with you. That's what it says right here. There, no dogs. It's very windy here. I should have a better view. Very windy, very sunny. Had to get the Blockbuster sweatshirt out. It was a little too cold, even for me, and I'm a Minnesotan. But we're just walking around the parking lot, letting Winston stretch his legs, enjoy the lovely weather. And then, I don't know what we're going to do next, but we're going to do something. Now we're going to go see if we can tour the Carlsbad Caverns. Alright, you guys, I thought maybe this might be a little more, I bit off a little more than I could chew, and I think I'm making the safer bet here. So I'm going to tour the caves, but I'm going to take the elevator. The lovely ranger said that it was like going down 80 flights of stairs, and whilst visually it looks really cool in the photos, I'm not here for that. I'm sure that I can do it. I've certainly done worse, but I just think that we want to be safe rather than sorry. And the cave itself should take an hour and a half to wander around anyway, so.
Make sure you don't get rabies, although you're a combat medic, so you can help us. Yeah.
Still dead.
When I first visited Mammoth Cave in Tennessee, I took 1 million photos. I think here I'm just going to enjoy it a little bit more and have a little bit of video evidence. But one of the things the ranger did say was that this was only 40 miles of caves, whereas Mammoth Cave was 400, She said that the caverns were larger here because of the sulfuric acid. And they are definitely really big. All right, we're back at the van. 9,391 steps later. you can see the amount of exercise that I've had based off of the sheer redness of my face. So, picked Winston up from the kennel. He appears to have been a good boy. Yeah, he didn't drink any of the water because the water at the kennel was not good enough for him. So he demanded water once we got here. Yes, he did. The bowl was full. So that was Carlsbad Caverns. I promised myself I wouldn't take 1,000,000 photos, but guess what? I probably took about 500,000. Caverns, you know, I visited a few like small, you know, side of the road type caverns, and then I visited Mammoth Cave and Carlsbad Caverns. And honestly, I think that they are some of the best national parks that you can visit. Not only can you get your 10,000 steps a day, but it is truly just magnificent how it's not even something that you can capture on camera. Like, I can try, but you have to experience it for yourself. And I feel like, truthfully, the 2 Texas ones that I just went through, those 2 national parks, like, they're just something that you do because it's near this. Like, this is the thing. So now we're in mountain time, and it is about 3:46 p.m. on Saturday. And originally I thought that I would do, you know, Guadalupe on Saturday and then the caverns on Sunday, but I cleared them both in a day because I couldn't go hiking. So now I'm asking myself what next. So I could go to Roswell, but there is another national park between, or like near here. It would just be a little bit of an east-wide journey. Let me see if I can find the name of it here. While I'm doing that, you can enjoy Winston's face, because he's so cute. Yes. White Sands National Park, New Mexico. So I think we are going to actually have a detour here and go to White Sands. Okay. Sorry, terrible filming. We are going to detour and go to White Sands, I think. And then come back to Roswell, because I still want to go to Roswell, but I have all of tomorrow. So it's like, why would I just hang out in Roswell the whole time when I can just go to White Sands and it's only a couple more hours away? So we're going to do that, and then we're going to veer back, and then we're going to go to Taos, because everybody recommends that I got to go to Taos. It's in northern New Mexico, but I've heard it's beautiful, cold, but beautiful. So we're going to go and explore Taos.